Joining us today are a few experts on nursing history and the education and employment aspects of nursing. Now, it's my understanding that Florence Nightingale has paved the way for nurses. In 6 months, she reduced deaths from 42% to 2% just by basic sanitation procedures. She also developed the first nursing school in 1860 and published the Notes on Nursing, which were influential and still in existence today. Now, Tyson, in 1861 and 1900, could you sum up some points in that era?
Thank you, Lisa. This is really where nursing education took off. In 1873, the New England Hospital for Women and Children graduated the first trained nurse. In addition, in 1879, they graduated the first African-American trained nurse. Also in 1873, 3 schools were founded based on the principles set forth by Florence Nightingale. Those schools were New York Training School, the Connecticut Training School, and the Boston Training School. In 1885, the first nursing textbook was published by Clara S. Weeks, and that was the textbook of nursing. In 1893, Howard University started the first nursing program in a university. Also at that time, there were some changes in employment. Usually nurses were employed in the hospitals, and they started performing home health care, which increased their opportunities. So you can really see that the modern nursing education was founded in that time period.
Thank you, Tyson. That was very riveting. Kenneth, could you tell us some importance from 1901 to 1929?
Yes, Lisa. Florence Nightingale believed that women were more suited for the organizing, performing, and supervision of nursing care. And because of this, there were very few men in the field during this time. In 1900, the first issue of the American Journal of Nursing was published, and this gave scholars a better way to communicate ideas and further the science of nursing. Usually after graduation in the early 1900s, nurses worked as private duty or as superintendents of hospitals. They earned an average of $5 a week. By the 20s, they were pretty saturated and they were making about 50 cents an hour serving as glorified housekeepers. In 1918, Adelaide Netting spoke to the Rockefeller Foundation in regard to the need for improved nursing education. The result was a 500-page study released by the Committee for the Study of Nursing Education in 1922. In our home state of Missouri, the first Nursing Practice Act went into effect on May 6, 1909, and because of that, 5 people were appointed as members of the Missouri State Board of Nurse Examiners.
Wonderful, Kenneth. Thank you. Maria, what are your thoughts on nursing from 1930 to 1975?
Well, during World War II, the Army Nurse Corps stressed field sanitation and defense against air, chemical, and mechanized attacks. This was influenced by Florence Nightingale because she promoted sanitation in order to prevent contamination and spreading of diseases. There were several programs that were developed for nurses during the World War II. There was a 6-month course that taught nurses how to administer inhalation anesthesia, blood and blood derivatives, and oxygen therapy. There was a 12-week program that trained nurses how to care and medicate patients that needed psychiatric care. In 1943, the U.S. Cadet Nurse Corps was established. Their purpose was to ensure that the U.S. had enough nurses to care for both citizens that lived at home and for those that were serving during the war. This created a dramatic rise in the number of nursing students. During the war, a bill was introduced to establish government programs that would provide a grant to schools to facilitate continuation of nursing training. NAPNUS was also founded in order to improve and extend education of practical nurses. They hold activities such as workshops and seminars to keep LPNs up to date with new nursing and medical technologies. The nation's first ADN program began in 1952 at Fairleigh Dickinson University in Madison, New Jersey. In 1965, the American Nurses Association presented a position paper stating that LPNs should attend a 2-year program and RNs a 4-year program in order to differentiate between the levels of nursing. This idea was then stalled due to nursing shortages.
That's very interesting, Maria. Thank you. Amy, what are some more modern points on nursing that you have for us?
Well, over 100 years ago, Florence Nightingale implemented the use of the call bell, which is still used today to assist with patient care. Between 1990 and 2003, UAPs were hired to assist with patient care and made LPNs and RNs more readily available to deal with more complex issues. Also in this time period, the National Council of State Board of Nursing created the NCLEX examination, which was the first computerized adaptive test. HIPAA was also created in 2003, which worked to provide confidentiality to patients as well as rights to patients over their healthcare information. The decreasing amount of nursing educators available is contributing to the fact that schools cannot accept enough nursing students to keep up with the nursing shortage. Opportunities for LPNs have changed throughout the years, with more LPNs being employed in long-term care facilities and RNs being employed in acute care facilities and more specialized areas of nursing.
Great. Well, that concludes our episode of Nurse Talk today. I'd like to thank my experts for coming today and sharing their knowledge on education and employment in nursing history. Go America!